Hey there, guys. So, in this video, I'm just gonna just kind of go over how to change your air return filter or your furnace filter. I haven't changed this furnace filter in a while, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very very dark. So before you change your furnace filter, make sure that the thermostat is turned off. Whether you're running on heat or air conditioning mode, make sure it's turned off. That way you don't deal with you know, that way the air doesn't go past the filter and get into the system and get it dirty and all that stuff. And once that's turned off, you're gonna clip open these latches right here, or these little switches, which some of them have a thing where it's kind of like, we have to like pry it with the flathead screwdriver to pry it open, but I honestly think that the ones with the latches like these are much easier, so I like that design much better. And you're gonna pull that out, and it's, as you can see, it's very dark and dusty. There's even some buildup, some clumps of hair at the bottom right here. This filter hasn't been replaced in a long time. So go ahead and pull that out. So it does look pretty scary. I'm gonna go and turn on the flashlight so you can see. Yep, it does look pretty scary down there. Didn't mean to frighten you guys. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of vacuum the interior of the unit. Just so I can have a maximum, performance. I'm using my Prolex 9000 that you may have seen in my vacuuming videos, which is what I'm gonna be using since I just feel like it. And I'm gonna make sure I put my duster brush on. So here we go. And of course, it's also a good idea to like have the grills, the cover, the vent cover grill thing itself. And it also does come off. That way, if you have like in the kitchen, we can get grease over, you can just, wash it with dish soap, detergent, like with Dawn dish soap. Especially if it has grease since it's kind of near the kitchen. And you're gonna go ahead and take your new filter, which I'll show you guys the difference here. You can definitely see the difference. That's dirty and that's clean. This definitely needs to be thrown away. And when you buy new filters, you want to make sure you get the correct size. For example, this is a 20 by 20 by 1 inch. So 20 by 20 by 1 inch. But if you can't tell, just get like a measuring tape and just measure the width and the height and the thickness of it. And before you install it in, make sure that the arrow that you see on the side is pointed towards air return system. That's the correct way to install it. And yeah, as you can see, I did write the date on it because, you know, I always like to write the date on it of when I installed it, just so I can tell how long it's been in there for. I mean, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is, voluntary. I mean, but yeah, it's your choice. But I personally like to write the date on it. So yeah, so yeah, just make sure it's nice and snug in there. Oof. So, and also one thing I did forgot to mention is that when you're buying filters, you know, it's not just the size you have to pay attention to, but you know, certain filters have a MERV rating, and what I mean by that is that the higher the MERV rating, the more dust and dust and dirt will filter out. So now some people do make the mistake of buying really thick, high quality filters, and even though it may give you good air quality, but the problem is that certain AC systems, or HVAC systems I should say, can't handle that much of a high MERV rating. So if you use a filter that's a higher MERV rating than what the HVAC system can handle, then it can restrict more airflow and cause your system to clog and, you know, burn out or ice up and all that stuff, and you really don't want to do that. So just, yeah, but I'm not saying that you should go out and buy crappy filters where you can like see through them and stuff. The ones that like, you know how some filters we can like see through easily, they're like usually blue and stuff. Yeah, I'm not saying you should go out and buy those crap cheap filters, because they're not gonna do, you know, anything to give you good air quality. So it has to be kind of a balance here. So, you know, I usually use pleated filters like this because that's what these little lines here is, all pleated filters. Is that it'll give you more filtration and all that stuff, and it'll last longer than the cheap filters that are usually like a blue color and all that stuff. But yeah. But yeah, and once you put the filter, go ahead and close the cover here and latch it on, and it should be good to go. So it's pretty easy. So yeah. So because yeah, you know, your AC or HVAC system is not an air purifier. It's meant to heat and cool your house. So if you're really concerned about having good air quality, one of the things that you could do is vacuum your house, like with a good quality vacuum, like what I use here, which is this Prolix 9000 that you've seen in my vacuuming video. So yeah. And also you could buy yourself one of those air purifiers. It's very portable, easy to use on Amazon, which I'm thinking about getting that sometime. But yeah. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave it down in the comments below. So yeah, so anyways, I hope you guys liked the video, and thank you all for watching.